What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome. This week we'll be talking about whether or not it's worth it. So make sure that you tune in as we get started for this week's Tech Training Tuesday. So I want to welcome each and every one of you as you come in here. Make sure you say hello, greet your fellow #Black CEOs, automation masters, YouTubers, wherever you're watching from right now. Make sure you're ready to be here and enjoy all the fun. I am your host, your trainer, your guide each and every week. Justin Morgan here to hang out and embark on this journey of making sure that we, as entrepreneurs, automate our business so that we can master our destiny and master our impact. I'm glad to be here with you this week. Great topic again this week. So as you enter into the broadcast, make sure you say hello to your fellow #Black CEOs, to your fellow folks in the community here. As I'm going and check and see who's at the party, just make sure you greet everybody. Make sure you tell us where you're from, who you are, what you do, maybe what your business is, what your brand is, what your product is, what your service is. Make sure those things are there in the comments. So that way, not only I can see it, but your fellow Black CEOs, your fellow entrepreneurs, your fellow builders here in this community can make sure they see it as well. So I'm humbled to be here as usual. I'm always trying something different, so you may see some differences in the settings or things of that nature in the camera. Next thing I'm going to do is work on the auto light adjustment. So I realized that during the broadcast, you can see it's going to get kind of dark, kind of light, because of the setting I have the camera on right now. I didn't get a chance to play with it. I was focusing on other stuff, so I'm happy just to have this camera up. So I'm up, I got a different one going. So good evening to y'all. Make sure I can be heard. Of course, we're a little bit in, so if I can't be heard at this point, then oh well. So I'm just gonna make sure, boom, that's down and the volume here is up. So tonight, I'm gonna be talking about weather. As you can probably see the title, right? The question is it worth it? Right? So the question is it worth it? So my question of the week, question of the day, question of this training for you is, have you ever used Clickfunnels? Like, has it been a tool you ever checked out, looked at, explored? And if not, like, if you did, then why didn't you go with it? Why didn't you use it? And of course, if you didn't, right, then of course this would be the first time you may be hearing about it or even getting a chance to seriously consider it. So excellent. So let's see first who's here in the house. Got Mr. and Mrs. Morgan. Thank you for being here and supporting as usual. And Lachey, welcome. Lachey Bennett, MBA. Tell us what you do, where you're from. Tell us your business, why you're here, what you're hoping to learn, all that jazz. And again, the question of the day is, have you heard of, checked out, explored, maybe even used Clickfunnels? And if not, then great. If you have, then why haven't you, or have you chosen to use it as a tool for your business, for your movement, for your product, for your service, or your brand? So with that all being said, I'm glad to be here with you this week. And Joe, the bigger question is Clickfunnels, again, is it worth it? And is it a platform that you can run your business on? Like, is it useful for you as an entrepreneur? And so I'm going to talk about, one, how I came about Clickfunnels. I'm going to talk about the cons first, kind of the bad parts. And then I'm going to talk about the pros, the things that I know that work well for the platform. So have yourself ready. Take some notes. I'm going to show some screen today as well as we go through this. If you have questions for me, like just I'm confused about something, either with using automated software, you have a question about Clickfunnels, question about whatever, question about what I ate this morning for breakfast, which is a trick question, then make sure you put it in the comments below and we'll address it. Again, this is your chance to ask. I'm here to answer and serve you. So with that all being said, what is Clickfunnels and how in the world, how on a LL Cool J, how did I end up getting there? So Clickfunnels, if you didn't know, is what I would call a sequence, or it terms itself a funnel builder. It's used as a sales funnel builder. It's meant to help you promote your brand, help you promote your product, your service, or your mission out to whoever you want to get it to. And so what it does, it takes this concept of how can you have a tailor-made salesperson So if I were to walk into a store, so I've said this before, if I were to walk into a store, right? So if I were to go right now, and let's say this past weekend, right? For Father's Day, we went bowling, right? So my father and I were talking about getting the bowling ball. He wanted a bowling ball to fit his hand so he can maybe get a chance to beat me, perhaps. Okay. I won, by the way. He blames the ball. But let's say that we did go shopping for a bowling ball. So we went to a specialty shop, right? So we have a couple options out there as consumers. We can go to Walmart, I can go to Modell's or Sports Authority and go shop for that bowling ball. But when you walk in, you just kind of walk in, kind of browse, and you kind of do it yourself, right? Now, the other option is to go to a boutique, right? So we would go to some shop that just sold bowling balls. And so that would be ideal, right? My dad watching now. That would be ideal. We go to some shop and we walk in and somebody would guide us through the experience. They would tell us, hey, this is the right ball for your hand and this is what fits and this is the perfect size to have. Hey, what colors do you like? What designs do you like? Here's the size and the weight. This is why it should work for you. This actually addresses your needs. They walk you through a process. And so Clickfunnels is the software version of that experience. Does that make sense? You let me know if that makes sense. Put it down in the comments below. Hashtag Master of Tech. Hey, that makes sense. So let me know if it makes sense. Put it down in the comments below. Celeste, what's going on? Welcome this evening. I appreciate y'all. If you're here right now, do me a favor. You know what I'm going to ask. Make sure to share it out with a friend, family member, or a foe because they need to hear this as well. And I will repeat that same thing at the end for folks who may be watching this for the first time. So, as I was just saying, so that's what Clickfunnels is. It is the software epitome of what it's to have a personal salesperson guide you through a process. So that's the point of it. So that's the vision that they had. They have this term called one funnel away. Now, we talk about sequences here, but there's some similarities between a sequence and a funnel. The only difference is a sequence is geared toward keeping people in. A funnel is still moving people through a process. It's just not focused on closing out and closing the loop. And so that's the difference. So as I talk about ClickFunnels, if I start using the term funnels, that's because that's the term they use, and I'm trying to just align it with what their software is geared toward. Okay? But you can build sequences in it, which is what makes it cool. But I'll talk about that in a little bit. So ClickFunnels, how did I end up there? So again, I've just if you wanted to know, I've used everything from WordPress, I've used Weebly, I've checked out Square, I've helped clients on Wix, I've used Builderall, I've messed with lead pages, I've done all these different things. I've tried to build stuff in GetResponse, I've messed with Zoho, I've messed with all these other third-party things. I've learned to ConvertTree, Convertly, all of it. So if you want to know, I've messed with a lot of different platforms. Like that, more of the story. I've messed with a lot of different platforms. So I started out with WordPress, and I kind of I got tired of WordPress. Right? I got tired of WordPress. It's too much. I got to update everything. It's just a lot of work, right? Then from there, I went to Weebly. And I said, oh, Weebly's great. It's neat. It's great to have a static website. But it was too boring. Right? So I wanted something I could put some juice into, add some extra tools, and integrate well. And Weebly just wasn't doing it. So then after that, I moved on to this thing called Builderall. And I thought I felt the holy grail. Right? So I messed with Builderall. Builderall had everything. I had everything, but it just didn't do everything well. It just wasn't stable enough. Right? Now there's some things that work well if you want to finick with it and mess with it. And I got tired of it. I still own it, but I got kind of tired of it. So ClickFunnels was like, again, we got two little ones now. So I got a 9-year-old and our 1-month-old. And so I know at some point in time, this is our 9-year-old, right? Kids tend to what? They like to copy, like to follow you around. And so where I had Builderall and all these other programs, ClickFunnels was always this thing. I saw they had this great community. I saw it, I was like, man, this is great, but it just looks a little expensive. And I feel like I can't chuck that amount of money. I can't define or justify spending that much. Like it just didn't make sense to me, right? And so for me, it's like, all right, I just can't. Like it just can't. But just as a child does when they're young, they tend to copy and they tend to follow you around. It's like, hey, the one that's asking, hey, can we go out and play today? And you say, no, not yet. And then about 5 minutes later, can we go out and play today? Oh, no, not yet. Wait a little bit. Oh, can we go out and play today? No, not yet. Can we go out and play today? Like, I'm asking again. Can we go out and play today? Like, is that something we can do? Please, please, Daddy, please. And so that was Clickfunnels. It just kind of followed me around. And so after a while, right? After a while, I was like, all right, I'll bite. So first it started off, I get their free book, and then I check out a couple of webinars. I'm still not sold, right? And so it comes down to it. I'm getting ready for an event. I'm like, all right, I've been messing with Builder. It's been driving me bonkers, like crazy, trying to get this thing ready. So I'm like, all right, well, I've been spending hours and hours on this, days and days, weeks and weeks trying to get this thing together. I'm going to go ahead and try out this free trial over here on ClickFunnels. I'm just going to try it. Just going to try it and see how fast I can get stuff up. And so the stuff I just spent, weeks trying to do and trying to get perfect, I set up in ClickFunnels in like a matter of a couple days. And not to crap on the other platforms, but I have, I had pretty much like slashed the amount of time it took me to get what I needed up. Right, not necessarily perfect, but up. And so for me, I was like, all right, well, I just saved a bunch of time doing something that I needed to do. I've been trying to do, and I've been getting frustrated doing. So why not give this platform a chance? So that's how I ended up with ClickFunnels. It was really a choice of time. Like just finally making that thing and just kind of bucking up and telling myself, Justin, it's just saying, it's time. Like I've been wasting too much time, too much effort, too much energy on this platform that's not doing enough for me at the moment. So that's where, again, I made that decision to switch it up. So that's how we got here to ClickFunnels, and I've been using it now for the last, say, month and a half or two, right? So I've used it a little bit. I haven't done a ton with it. I've been working on a project on it, and I'm pleased with it. So I figured now would be the time that I'll bring it to you and really give you that answer of, hey, is it worth it? And no, this is not a clear yes or no. It should be worth it. Justin, I'm going to take your review and just run with it. This is a chance for me to give you information, pros and cons, tell you how it weighs into and actually is a part of your business, so when you make an educated decision as an entrepreneur. So this is not for me to force anything on you. This is for you to be able to take my information, write it down, take notes, think about how you feel about it, weigh the pros and cons, and see if it fits your budget, fits your mission, and fits your style and how you operate. And so that's what I want to do here for you in this time. So hopefully you're ready. Put in the comments, hashtag Master of Tech, if you are ready to take in the pros and the cons of this platform. And we're going to talk about what it means for you and what you can do. So as I said, let me see who's in the comments. Again, Michelle, I see Mrs. Delilah, thank you for being here. I know I didn't say hello to you. Welcome this evening as well. If you're there lurking and you haven't yet put yourself in the comments, do it. Hit some likes, give some hearts, all that great stuff. Show some love for the content so that way I know this is stuff that you actually need. If you don't need this stuff, then please also in the comments put, hey Justin, I would like to learn more about blank. So that way I know. So I can do this stuff for y'all. Enough of all that and enough of the stalling. So let's go to it. So again, ClickFunnels. What is it? What does it look like? Let's take a look at the screen I got over here, and boom. So as we hop into this is ClickFunnels, clickfunnels.com, right? Clickfunnels.com. Now, I'm going to talk about some cons first, and you can't see my face, I know. I'm going to talk about some cons first, so make sure that you take them down. Now, the biggest and the most obvious con that ClickFunnels presents is the fact that, let me go here, boom, I want to sign up for a 14-day trial, is that it's not cheap. It's $97 a month for one level, and then $297 for another. So it is not something to take lightly in terms of whether it's on your budget or not. I'll do some other perspective again in a minute. But what I want you to ask yourself, though, the big question is, can you run your business on $300 a month? Does McDonald's run their business on $300 a month? Does Google run their business off $300 a month? Does Microsoft, does IBM, does Apple, do they run their businesses on $300 a month? You are an entrepreneur. So we, as entrepreneurs, as hashtag Black CEOs, as masters of automation and masters of tech, need to find a way to be able to operate our businesses completely for a few $100s a month. That seems to be a reasonable place. Now, obviously not everybody's going to start there, which is why I'm saying it's a con, but I just wanted to point that out and just give you some perspective. And of course, if you want to pay annually, then you can do it this way. It's $9.97 for 12 months, or $29.97 for 12 months. Okay? And you do save a little bit of cash when you do that. They do have other deals that they always run. If you check and catch some of their webinars, they do some deals where you can purchase all at one time and get some extra tools and softwares in there that make it more affordable if you can afford to pay up front. Okay? So that's the biggest con, again, as I look at it and think about it. All right, some other things that you consider as a con is this is not meant for you to be able to build a traditional site. This is meant to build out a funnel. Like that's what it was made for, was a funnel, or in this case, a sequence. All right, but their name is Clickfunnels. So it is not geared towards your typical have a site with a home, about, and yada, 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 and it's got one template that goes across every page. And that's not what it's for. Can you do it in the software? Yes, I'm doing it in the software. That part of it's a little more of a pain. That's not what it's meant for. So if you want just a static, boring website just by itself, that's what you want, this is not for you. Now, if you want a system that helps you sell for your business, then that's what it would be for. But it's not for that, okay? If you want to blog, this is the third con. So make sure you're putting these things in the comments. This is the third con, okay? This is not meant for you to do blogging. So blogging requires that you have an easy way to manage your content. Can you create blog posts within this content? Yes. Why do I know? Because I'm doing it, right? So is it meant for that? No. But can it be done? Yes. So if you want to be a hardcore blogger, you're trying to just push out content all the time, like that's what you want to do, then this is not it. Like this is just not it. I'm just being real with you. Like this is not it. Like this is not that thing. What's up, David? How's it going, man? Appreciate you. Hello, hello, hello. All right, so this is not it. So if you want to be a blogger and that's your thing, this is not your platform. Like it's just not. That's all you want to do. Now, if you want to have blog posts as a secondary function of you being able to market like I am, then it's not a big deal. You can still create blog posts, and there are templates within the platform for it. Okay? There are templates in the platform for it. And then fourth is if you want 100% custom coded sites and softwares and things of that nature within your website, then Clickfunnels is not your place. You can put in some custom coding, but if you're looking to have your whole website custom coded, like this is not the place. There may be some way around it, but it's really not that platform because you don't have access to the source. You can add on and put on code on top of it, but in terms of the source code, you do not have control over it. Okay? So for folks who understand what that means, again, this means that you can add to it, but you can't change the foundation. Right? So you can put on top of the foundation some things won't stick. Some things aren't meant or compatible with that foundation. You can't do everything custom, and you can't change that foundation. But you can put some interesting things on it if you want. Okay, so if you have the know-how or the help, then you can put some custom coding onto the site to make it work. So hopefully that makes sense. So those are the cons. So those are the negatives. Now let's touch a little bit on the positives. So if you're ready for the positives, let me know in the comments, and I'll let you know. For folks who are still watching and who haven't told me what they do, I am curious. Again, like David, I don't think I've seen you here in the comments before, so, you know, if you're still hanging out, let us know what you do. I'm curious. Michelle, I'm doing great this evening. Let us know what you do. This is Delilah. I don't think I've talked to you before. At least I don't remember. Let us know what you do. Celeste, I think I've seen you before. And Lachey, I feel like I've seen you before as well. Otherwise, I don't remember what everybody does. So make sure you put it in the comments. What I would like to do is, if you're here, so this is the benefit of being live, is really to share a minute as to how the software would be useful for you specifically. So depending on what you do, this actually may be more useful for you than you know. And so allow me to embark some of that knowledge and perspective on you. But I only can do that if, obviously, I know what you do. So put it in the comments below as I get into the pros, and we can talk about it. So as I get into it, boom, just making sure I didn't mix anything. Bang. Okay, so the pros, the good parts of the software. So again, one, it is sales sequence based. So the benefit of it is really geared toward you taking somebody through an experience that introduces them to a solution, right, that they're willing to invest in. So the whole point is it's willing to guide you. So you go in and it's built on creating sequences, right? So it gives you templates that you can use. You can just easily plug in content to be able to fill those things out. So it saves you time. Okay, so that's the other benefit. It's a huge time saver. So again, it's not complex. You don't have to do anything fancy, but in a fraction of the time, without any fancy programming or anything like that, okay, you can actually design a sequence that helps you sell your product, your service, your mission, or your brand. And so there aren't many things out there that allow you to do that and have all the other goodies and functions that Clickfunnels has. Okay, so that's the thing. So good. I see a couple folks. I see David and Mr. Morgan. I'll talk about those things in a second. Okay, so stay tuned for that. All right. So after I get through these pros, then I'll get to your specific points. Okay. So again, time saver, right, and sales sequence base. So again, you're guiding them through an experience, right, and so hopefully that experience closes out. And it's automated. So they're going from one page, they're going to another page in a process that makes sense. You can capture their information. The other pro is that it's well integrated. So you can use a lot of different tools to be able to fit with the software, which is what I like in terms of my use of it. Okay? That's what I like in terms of my use of it. Boom, making sure that my boom thing here is still there. Good. So that's why that's important on that end, okay? Another point, another pro, is that they're constantly adding value to the product. So when some people put out software, when they add to the software, they charge more for the software. This company, ClickFunnels, has done a good job of, over time, just adding value at the same price point. And that, to me, is amazing. It makes that $97 a lot more worth it. So instead of it being, hey, we're adding this thing this month, and now it's an extra boom for new people, no, it's just the same price, $97. Or if you're at the $297 level, it's like, hey, boom, it's still $297, right? So that's amazing to me. Like, I like that, and I think that's an amazing effort. It gives me confidence in the future of the program. The other pro is that ClickFunnels is established. They're immensely established. I believe they're at over 100 million in revenue, which is amazing. Like, it's a massive amount of revenue. Think about that. $100 million. What that means and how many clients you have. That's pretty big, right? And so it just gives me confidence in what they're doing and the future of the platform. Okay. So boom. Just keep that in mind. Excuse me. And lastly, why I think it's worth it, it's just the community. And that's an understated thing. But the community is awesome. So they have a really, really active group of other entrepreneurs who can go in and let's say you want a tip, you want a strategy, you're just trying to think of the next thing. There's so much you can learn just by going in their group and seeing what other people are doing. And what it does is it increases your learning curve that much faster. Because let's say you have a question about customizing your pages to do something specific. There's a likelihood that somebody in the group has done the same thing. I've done it myself. I go in the group, have a question, I find out somebody else who did it. And then I can learn from their example. it just increases your learning curves, which saves you time, which gets you to revenue faster. And there are only so many places that you can do that. And so that's why I love it. And so for me, as you think about your business, if you just want a static site, for some reason that's all you want, then Clickfunnels is not for you. It's going to be too much money spent. If you don't actually plan on selling something, providing a service, raising money, then Clickfunnels is just not for you. Like, it's just not for you. If $97 a month is going to break the bank for you, your budget, and your family, then it is not for you. But if you like to sell products, you like to sell your service, you have a mission, you have a movement that can be monetized, and it requires you to speak out a message that's specific to certain people. You need to be able to guide them on an experience from discovery, from seeing that you have the solution to their problem and actually giving them the solution, then ClickFunnels is something that you should seriously consider. If you have an other page builder or sequence builder, it may not be worth the jump for you. I'm not going to say that you have to. But for some of you who are still on the fence, you have a static website, you're not sure what to use, you want to have a platform that's simple, that's easy, the learning curve is shorter, doesn't require any custom coding, then ClickFunnels is a good choice. So with that all being said, if you have any other questions, let me know down in the comments below or off to the side or wherever it is on your screen. Let's see what we had here. David says, you're a 22-year paramedic trying to get into IT. David, what about IT? I mean, that's pretty vague, man. And I'm trying to see, again, are you trying to, what kind of business are you actually starting in IT, man? I mean, what you need to give me something there. Mr. Morgan, can a landscaping business use it? Yes. And so this is probably a conversation I was going to have with you when we talk a little bit more about so my father has been in business, so I'll probably get my entrepreneur bug from him. I don't know how long you've been doing, let people know how long you've been doing landscaping in the comments, but he's had his own landscaping business now for eons, as far as I know. But the way that you would use it, any service provider, in-home service provider, physical hands-on service provider would use it, would be just the same way somebody else does. So how would I package in a service? So either A, my first page would be some type of page that gets you signed up either for some type of free gift or some type of free consultation, right? So that first page can be, hey, get your free consultation now, or that first page can be, hey, get your coupon or your discount off your first service right here for signing up. So they sign up, then you get their information, you get their, you get their email, you get their number. So now you have their number, you can call them and say, hey, hey, I'm Mr. Morgan, you showed interest, would you like to get a consult? Okay, so that's one way to use it. The other way, and the way that kind of makes money is, again, depending on what you want to do, whether it be just consulting for a project or just providing the service itself, is let's say somebody goes on to the site. They see what you do. They can see your rates. They then purchase the first project, right? So whatever the first project is, you set some standard rates. They do that. The next page thereafter, the moment you sell them, then upsells them on some additional things. So let's say that somebody just wants a standard cut. Right, somebody just wants a standard cut. So for you, you just set some standard cut. It can be no matter how big the yard. So that's the risk. So I understand the landscaping business is, again, sometimes the yard is big, sometimes it's small. So you may have to find a medium point in terms of the price point. But essentially, you set that standard price. He's been doing it for 15 years, y'all. 15 years, okay? So standard price. You find some standard price for just a regular cut. Somebody signs up for that regular cut. The next page is, hey, with that regular cut, also get your get mulching done, get a free design, and get mulching done, weeding done, bush trimmings, tree trim, whatever those other things are, and you add it on and say, here's the extra amount. Go ahead and upgrade to this now. And then for free, you say, hey, you get a free project design as well. We'll talk about the free product design later. It's more of a sales strategy than anything else. But that's how you would use it. You can use it as appointment setting, so people can go there, discover your page from searching in Google, something like that. And they can set an appointment with you. After that appointment, again, they can get upsold into some other appointment. Again, there's many different ways to use it. It's really up to you. Again, we've had discussions, you and I, in terms of you talking about wanting to get into consulting and things of that nature, so it can be used for that as well. Okay, so again, gather information and you can still sell your service as well. David, I'm an associate in network systems administration. I want to get into security and networking. Okay, so what I get from that is likely, I'm assuming you want to work and kind of get some contracts with maybe some smaller businesses. So the same way that you would work directly, instead of working directly and performing those services as an employee, you'd rather perform some of those services kind of as them hiring you, or you giving your services as your own company, contracting you. So that way you can do that with many different companies. Is that what I'm assuming that's what I'm getting from that? Okay. And so for you, again, same process. You can have a site up. You either have a standard set of services, right? So likely for you, it will look something like, here's your standard set of services for small business owners or small entrepreneurs or solopreneurs, like folks who may be watching here, or like I may have been at some point, right? So guys like me or other black CEOs or smaller businesses, there's a set of services you give them at a rate. And you have your enterprise service. So those folks, right? Those folks, again, you may have an appointment box for them that they opt into, and they set an appointment with you, and then you can sell them, or you give them some other rate. Okay, and then after that, then the next thing. What's the next thing to give them? For folks who are trying to figure out how you ladder up your offer, you got to kind of think about, it's called a value ladder. I suggest you actually get, one second. Boom. If I can. Yep. All right. Oh, here we go. So, you can check out this book. Again, it's another, one of the books, as you can see, it's a lot of paper in here, which means it's been read and explored and marketed. So this is Expert Secrets. This is one called .com Secrets as well, and that'll actually help you. That'll actually help you talk about the value ladder and really how you can make some of these make Clickfunnels work better for you. Okay, let's see. Arimina, I'm sorry for the name, y'all. I'm so sorry. Ms. Flowers came on to get you on the next slide. You can watch the replay. I mean, it's a great replay. Make sure you check out the replay, y'all. All right. Let's see. Willie, may I ask you a question? My brother, why don't many people think in more conglomerate? All right, hold on. So I'm going to read this. I don't know how this will apply to this, but I'm going to see. Okay, so again, Willie, if you're there, I'm going to read this question out. Why don't many people think in a more conglomerate, unifying mentality way when it comes to truly creating business plans like Family Dollar, who has stores all over this country with stockholders receiving most of the dividends? I'm sorry, I may be simple. Assume that I'm simple. I'm a math guy, so I think more as a logical person. So maybe it's how my brain works, because I'm trying to understand your question. So again, you're asking, why don't people think in a more, like, why are we creating Dollar Tree style businesses or Family Dollar style businesses? Is that what you're asking? Again, I think that's what you're asking, is why aren't we creating larger businesses, maybe bigger franchises, things of that nature. So let me know if I'm right on that down in the comments as I try to dissect what you just said. If somebody else has any other questions, please let me know in the comments and I'll address them. Is this really a tech question? No, but I shall take the question either way, because I feel like it's a great forum to have conversations like this. So I'll go ahead and field it really quickly. So again, Willie, if you have a follow-up for me, please put it in the comments. So that way I can get a full understanding. But I'm going to answer you with the response to the question I think you're asking. So again, to review, and I'm trying to read it again, just making sure I got it. You're asking, when it comes to truly creating business plans like a Family Dollar who has stores all over and holders receiving most of the dividend. So are you speaking as to why aren't we creating a business, especially as the Black community, right, that allows others in the Black community to invest in it and be stockholders and benefit and reap the benefits of that business. So, it's a Black-owned business creating lots of value in the investors, which are also African-American owned. Is that what I'm trying to get? Is that where I'm going? Anyway, so first answer, the first question is, and you're saying, why aren't we creating more of a conglomerate style business, a bigger business? And so for me, I think it's a personal question, man. I mean, there are going to be some people here who want to do that. I want to do that. That's my track, is to build something humongous. Will I ever have stock in the business? Probably not. I just want it to be huge. I don't know that I'll be going public and things of that nature, because I like to have control of my business. So that's kind of one of the things is, I think when you talk about having a larger conglomerate and corporate style business, when you talk about dividends and things of that nature, you also have to talk about control. And so some people aren't that style of wanting to give up control. I'd like to have a big company with lots of locations and things of that nature, but I wouldn't want to give up 50-70% of my company to stockholders so that way somebody else can take it over or make decisions. I want to protect the culture of the company. And so that would be me until I pass it on to somebody I felt was worthy of having it at that point. So that will be me in that regard, at least for my larger idea. Maybe there'd be some smaller businesses or conglomerates that are built out that are publicly owned and things of that nature. But ultimately, the big business will have a big impact. But I probably won't be giving a lot of things out and stocks out and things of that nature. But that's me. That's my own personal decision. I'm still thinking big, right? I still have a grand idea, and ultimately I want to help billion people, a billion people. That is actually my goal, is help a billion people. And so I don't have to do it that way. Let's see. Willie says, I'm coming from the divine kingdom minded way people of God, in Acts 4:32-35 amplified with teaches no lack or need among us, man of God, which will allow many provisional to help us to build solar powered housings. I'm lost, man. I'm sorry. I'm lost. Like, this is just not, my brain does not work that way. Like, I'm lost. It's not against you. Like, you probably asking the perfect question. If anybody else can reword that question for me, or the comment for me, so that way I understand, assume that I'm stupid. I'm just good with technology and figuring stuff out in terms of making things work. Interpreting stuff is not necessarily my strong point. So, I'm trying, man. I'm trying. But again, things like building solar power housings, I'm all for that. If you didn't know, one of my original brand I started out with before I started doing the Black Seal deal and technology and things of that nature was called New Future Builder. And so it is based upon the concept of building. So it's building a new future in business, building a new future for ourselves, building a new future for our communities and for the world. And so that includes green energy and things of that nature, and making the environment better and the planet better and the communities of the world better. And so that will be a worldwide movement, and will be something that will impact, again, 1 billion people. And so the Word of God tells us to be lenders and not borrowers and not borrowers. Yes, I do know that we should not be we should be lenders and not borrowers. So yeah, I agree with that. I'm with you there. Actually, by having stock, we're essentially borrowing cash. So really what I'm saying is I'm going to own a company that does not depend on investments, doesn't depend on raising other people's money, but simply creating value, creating revenue, and then distributing that in the form of services that impact the world. And so there are other black CEOs, other people in this community that are doing just that. They just have their other ways of doing it, or they're doing it on smaller micro levels. And so what's amazing is that when you have a platform like this, right, it allows me to speak to those people. And so in a way, it allows me to have that larger impact, because it is like having other little franchises that are change agents around the world. They simply just aren't contracted around me. But me being able to impact you and any other business owner or entrepreneur really makes you a franchise of the movement of change in which I've begun. You see where I'm going? So in a way, I started a conglomerate. So when Trevor, when Shay, or anybody, when Ruben, when they go live and they're speaking to many other entrepreneurs, many other speakers, in a way, they're speaking to the franchisees, to the separate franchises of this movement that is based upon creating a better world for all of us, right? And so that's how I look at it. So now everybody's kind of a micro mission of that. They have their own way in that. They have their own piece in that. And not everybody wants to have a big company, and that's okay. Not everybody wants to have $1 billion, and that's okay. Not everybody wants to have a corporate entity, and that's okay, right? As I've run out of time here, I'm going to switch over, boom, to the screen, and bang. So let's do that. Boom, I'll go to Clickfunnels. All right, so again, I am blind now. Cannot see you. You can see the screen. That means my camera's going dead. Going a little bit longer with this question than I expected. Okay, but again, Willie. Again, when you walk into any store, do you see God's people, owners of things that would help us infiltrating the marketplace? All right, so I'm gonna give my blunt answer, man. Hopefully you can still hear me. I'm gonna give my very blunt answer. And this is the problem. Our success as a people has nothing to do with what we currently see on the store shelves now. And I wish I could have my face up right now, just so I could just kind of portray the seriousness I have right this moment. Our success as a people, as hashtag Black CEOs, is not dependent upon what anything else is going on in terms of what's currently on the shelves. Our jobs now as hashtag Black CEOs is to either A, fill those shelves, or B, create our own stores, create our own marketplaces, create our own hubs of business. So if you can't cut it, right? If you can't cut it, or you don't think the current system works for you, always say create your own. There are many, many good people here in this community, in the Black CEO community, that are giving. They're God-fearing people. They love people. They're amazing people. Each and every year, at least recently, the last 2 years, I've gone to the Power Networking Conference. Before I went to the Power Networking Conference, I'm going to tell this story, I'm going to be done. Before I went to the Power Networking Conference, I had never been in a space where I just met so many people that had their own thing. And so when I went there, what really struck me wasn't the amount of content, wasn't how well organized the event wasn't just how good and amazing the venue was. The most impressive part of it were the people. It was the energy. So everybody there was a business owner, an executive level manager, but they were all positive. They were all caring. They were all giving, all willing to help one another. And they were all there to support people of color, whether they were of color or not. They were there to all unify around the fact that African American people have amazing things they can do in the community. And so what I'm saying to you, Willie, and anybody else, is just understanding that whether you see things, you're going to see what you see. So you can walk into the store and you can see opportunity. You can walk through life and see doors closing. We can see them opening. It's up to you. What I'm saying is there are amazing people here in this community. who are doing the right things, doing amazing things, who help to support you and others in the community. So, Willie, the way I'm going to wrap this up, man, is if you need something, if you have a question about you and your business and what you want to do, and you want to find other ways to get us out in the marketplace, and you want to have conversations about that, get in touch with me. Inbox me. Ask me a question. Just like you did here tonight, hung out with us, asked us amazing questions, make sure you continue to do so, and I'll continue to answer. All right, that's what I got for y'all this week. I apologize. The camera went out. I went to the other camera, DSLR. The batteries don't last very long on it, so that's why I went out and I can't switch it back. So, with that all being said, time for me to get another battery thing for it and possibly get a permanent plug-in. That'll be a project I'll embark on here soon. Hope the rest of you enjoyed this training. Again, is Clickfunnels worth it? That's up to you. Make sure that you share this with a friend, a family member, or a foe. And, as usual, treat each day as a building block to a better future. I will see y'all next week. Peace.